Hello everyone, Darren here, and on today's episode of WotC Academy, we're going to look at how to play the new Tier 9 German premium medium tank, the Kpz50T, but I'm going to call it the 50T in this video. This is a medium tank that is very similar to the Leopards, but is more capable of being closer to the action. So let's look at how to play this tank, and what sets it apart from its brothers. Now, the armor of the 50T is much better over the Tier 9 and 10 Leopards. Now, while the Tier 9 and Tier 10 both only have 70 millimeters of armor as their strongest, the 50T has a much stronger frontal armor profile, with 250 millimeters being the strongest part of the tank on the turret, as well as a pike nose hull that is 120 millimeters at the strongest. In fact, I'm actually going to put a photo in the top right hand corner showing the front armor profile of the Leopard, so that way you can see a side-by-side comparison. Overall, frontally, the 50T is more capable at bouncing shots than the Leopards. Be aware, though, that the driver's hatch section of the hull, as well as the lower plate, the sides, rear, and top of the tank are weak spots. Now let's look at mobility of the 50T. It is actually very good. Forward speed is 60 kilometers per hour and reverse speed is 20 kilometers per hour. While your mobility is not as good as the Tier 9 and 10 Leopards, you'll still be able to get where you need to go and reverse out of danger very quickly. Now, the engine has a 12% chance of fire. While that's worse than the Leopards, it's still low enough to where you can use food instead of a fire extinguisher if you have the necessary firefighting skills equipped. Now, as for the gun, accuracy and aim time are both very good, with accuracy being at 0.33 and aim time at 2.3 seconds. This means you should have no problems hitting your target. Reload time, though, is in the middle of the two Leopards, as the base reload is 9.19 seconds. This is better than the Tier 9 Leopard, but worse than the Tier 10. Gun elevation and depression angles are 17 degrees and 8 degrees respectively. This means you should be able to fight on ridgelines and hills relatively comfortably, but you may struggle just a bit if trying to shoot an enemy above you. Now, how do you set up the 50T? In terms of consumables, I run 32 APCR, 15 heat, and 3 HE for thinly armored targets. For consumables, I run a repair kit, a first aid kit, and a fire extinguisher because we all know I have horrible luck with artillery. For equipment, I use a gun rammer, vertical stabilizers, and optics. Of course, you could swap optics for vents if you wish to do so. Now, how do you play the Kpz50T? Well, because of the armor profile is much better than the Leopards, I tend to play the tank more aggressively. The tank is very well suited to a strong second line support position, and if the terrain is right and the enemies you are facing are not straight overkill, you could quite literally take a front line position so long as you keep your front towards the enemy. Now that concludes the overview of the Kpz50T. Let's look at some gameplay. So here we are on Malinovka, standard battle. I started from the southern spawn and I kind of recorded this a bit late. I honestly forgot to hit the record button when I did this. But I'm going to go up to the hill because I know how important the hill is. It is a very pivotal point on this map in standard battles, in encounter, it's a very pivotal part of the map and it should never be overlooked. So I'm fast enough here that I'm actually able to get up to the top of the hill ahead of the enemy team as well as my own team. And you can see here that I'm able to make use of the gun depression, my gun, as well as the armor profile on the tank, and be able to fight actually pretty confidently against all these tanks in front of me. This is something you couldn't really dare do as an average player, maybe even a very well experienced player trying to do this same thing with a regular Leopard or Leopard Proto. So right now all you're seeing me do is just continuously make use of my strong turret, peek out, get a good shot on an enemy in front of me and then just roll right back into cover. That 20 kilometers per hour reverse speed is allowing me to reverse out of danger very quickly. The reload speed, the aim time, everything there, the accuracy is very good to the point that I can just, hit what I need to without too much of a problem. Really not much here is going on, but I chose this video not only because, yes, it was a mastery class game, but also because I'm showcasing here that the armor profile is very much capable of doing this type of action. It's just that you have to be very mindful of your hull, because yes, it does have a pike nose. Yes, it could bounce stuff because it's a little bit stronger than a regular Leopard. It's still, it still has weaknesses on there, and you could get eaten alive if you are caught out in the open or in a position of vulnerability. But the gun, you're seeing the gun, the aim time, the accuracy, it's playing a role. My shots are connecting, the shots are hitting in places where you might not even try and dare aim with other guns. So what you're just seeing here right now is me just trying to make use of the best part of my tank, which is the gun and the armor. And right now I've done over 2k damage, and I've blocked about over 1,000 damage there, and that's something you couldn't really do in a Leopard. So the big threats that have pushed up to the hill are now taken care of here. So I'm pushing forward again to try and take care of the tanks that are daring enough to try and keep pushing up to get into a position here. They know that we have the high ground, and they want to try and get out of that trench, that rut that they are in. They do have some hard cover of some destroyed tanks, but they aren't really making much use of it. But the armor of my tank is holding up to the enemy that is always trying to take an aim at me. I'm the new tank. Everyone wants to take care of me. This video was recorded about over a week ago, so yeah, this was very new at the time. So overall, though, you're seeing here, there's really not a whole lot to talk about, as the game speaks for itself. The armor is holding up. You're seeing that I have not lost any HP yet. I have actually blocked over 3k damage, and I've dealt almost 4.5k raw damage, not including the combined damage. And we're even going to top off that, include that damage that I just did as well. The tank speaks for itself, and it's a very good tank. It does have some weaknesses right there. Like I said, the elevation is not the best, the gun depression's not the best, mobility is not the best compared to the other Leopards, but it very much is. It almost feels like a better Leopard. But yeah, that's pretty much the game there. Not a whole lot, but I did demonstrate the very key important aspects of this tank that you need to be aware of here. And we're going to look at the post-game results here, and we're going to see that yes, it was a mastery class as well as a couple other medals, but overall it was a very good game in the Kpz50T, as I did over 6k combined damage as well as a high caliber medal. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that gameplay, and that's going to be it for how to play the Kpz50T. I'd like to thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this one, don't forget to subscribe. But until next time, this has been Darren of WotC Academy.